Hello everyone and welcome to Cadmatic Electrical's construction demo. My name is Teemu Mikkelä and in this demo I'm going to discuss about electrical functionalities and design processes. First of all, some basics. Cadmatic Electrical is all-in-one package, which means that you can create all required electrical documents with our software. We have multi-user capabilities in the project, centralized data management system, integrated data-driven design which enables mass editing, different data import functionalities, flexible reporting, generating drawings with excellent templates. We have also unlimited data capabilities, updates in real time, thanks to our centralized data management system between database and drawings. Export to AFC functionalities. Think quickly about our licensing. We have perpetual and subscription models available. And the licensing types are network license, where the program can be installed in any number of workstations, and then the license is reserved when the program is opened, and it's freed when the program is closed. And the license can be also borrowed for offline use. And then we have the standalone license, where the license is activated to workstation, and then you can use the program offline, but it requires occasional checkup from online.
Here you can see the start page of Cadmatic Electrical.
We have a base program called Cadmatic Draw, and the electrical applications are extensions to that. From the select application, you can find the different applications available, which are distribution board, cabinet layout, schematics, and layout. Additionally, from the start page, you can find most recent news, for example, about new releases. You can also find easily the updates from our update services, or you can use our automatic update services to keep the program up to date. We have really fast-acting technical support and good instructions to use it. For example, for electrical support, you can find the email link from here. Then let's check one of our example electrical projects. Here you can see these DRV files, which is our own file extension. We have also full compatibility with DXFs and DVGs, so it doesn't matter which file format you use. Here you can see also reports, which are generated from the example project. An IFC model created from the project, and the database, which connects all of these files together to the same project. You can of course have also reference drawings, IFCs, which can also be used for reference drawings. And you can also create Dialux files, STFs, for lighting design. Let's open one of the project documents. Here is an example of an arrangement drawing done with the electrical. Here you can find, for example, light fixtures, raceways, suspension rails, sockets, distribution boards, and other electrical equipment. From the project tree from the left, you can find, for example, all the project documents, and in this case it consists these kind of documents. For example, cabinet layout drawings, distribution board schema drawings, layout drawings, reports, IFCs, and schematic drawings. The documents tree can be used to update, for example, all the reports whenever new updates have been done to the project, to keep the reports always up to date. You can also manage the files from here. For example, you can open these different documents from here. Like this. You can also manage the projects from the project tree with many other ways. For example, from the product model tree, you can find different products used in this current project. And there are also the amounts of the products which automatically update whenever something is added or deleted. You can also find specific items from the project from the tree. For example, I can find this safety switch easily from the tree, and from the context menu, I can find its all occurrences drawn to the project. For example, here is the symbol for the safety switch on the arrangement drawing. There is the marking symbol, and after next enter, it opens a new drawing where you can also find this safety switch, and here are the wiring connections down to that. Additionally, you can quickly edit the device from the project tree. For example, if I change this Q10 to Q101 and press OK, it will change the IDs to all occurrences at the same time. So there is no need to separately go to update them one by one from the drawing side. And when I come back to this layout drawing, you can see also that the update came here automatically. We have also database functionality where you can also find all kind of equipment on the drawing and documents and do mass editing. For example, you can find the devices from the devices tab. There are currently almost 250 of them. You can also find different other equipment like cables, different product information used on the project, raceways, groups, and documents. You can quickly do some mass editing, for example, from here. For example, if you need to modify some device texts, you do not need to do it one by one on the drawing side, but you can mass edit them from here, like this. It saves a lot of time in some cases. You can also do some similar edits, which was done previously on the drawing side to certain equipment. For example, if I now find this Q101, I can find it from the database also. And if I want to put it back to the Q10, which was the initial value, I can edit it quickly from the grid. And when I come back to the drawing side and I sync the database, you can see that the ID automatically updated here also. And with this kind of functionality, you can always trust that all the equipment is up to date and there is no certain occurrences which were left not updated. Now I'm going to show you how to create a new project with Cadmatic Electrical. I have created this project folder called How to Initiate a Project. And I have also created some IFCs here for the 3D design, reference drawings, and report templates. I select the electrical layout application and press Create New. Select the project directory, which is this How to Initiate the Project. Give it a suitable name and add it to the project database. I'll use the default settings here. From here we can set some layout drawing settings, like the scale, which affects only printing, setting file, which affects the electrical symbols, layer colors, and also the line types. From here we give the target information for the project. And this data will be filled to the drawing frames and labels, and they can be also used in report headers. Here you can find the project settings. We won't go them through now, but it's good to know we have default settings here. So you can tune the default settings as you please. So whenever you start a new project, that your assigned default settings will be used. From here you can find our management objects, which are cable types, wiring sets, product information, additional information, plates, and product modules. These settings and also these management objects can be shared with all users, or they can be also user specific. Then we press the save. First, we want to add the reference drawing to the document. It can be done from the external references tree by selecting the reference drawing option. And from here, we can find the first floor plan. Select it and insert it with default settings. Now we can open the reference drawing from the tree. And we can compare the colors, and they are now the same. If the reference drawing colors are wanted to be changed, it can be done from the tools, preferences, the DVG sections. You can select conversion file for reference drawings setting file. For example, TIN9 to change the colors to be as a gray. Now by updating these reference drawings, it gets the current setting file colors. We can also set the colors from the tree directly. And there are some other useful settings also for reference drawings. Then we want to lock the reference drawing so we do not accidentally move it. Then we want to create the layouts and print frames with the set drawing area function. From here we select the correct paper size, create a layout called layout 1, and use the drawing scale 1 to 50. Then we set the frame location and insert to the layout 1 to 0, location. And now we create the layout 1 with the print frame and viewport. Now we can insert the drawing label from the insert default drawing label function. Select the layer. Let's insert it to the bottom right corner. Then we want to move the viewport like this. And then we need to move the view on the viewport by double-clicking the printer icon on the bottom right. And by pressing the scroll button, you can move now. And by double-clicking the pen icon, you can come back to the layout. Now we want to create the layout 2 of the building top section with the same functionality. And we use the same settings, but now we create the layout 2 instead. Press OK. And select the correct area and insert it to the layout 2. Now again we want to insert the default drawing label we need to again move the viewport a bit. Now the viewports and layouts are done. Now we need to save the drawing, and then we can create the floor 2 and floor 3 already. It can be done with the save a copy of the drawing to the project function. By using it, we give the copy of the file a new name. Press save. And now all we need to do is get the new reference drawing to this new file. We select now the second floor reference drawing. Now we can see that the layout 1 and 2 are on the correct locations automatically because the building stories are exactly on top of each other. Now we save also this drawing and create another copy again. Again, we want to remove the old reference drawing from this new file and add the third floor reference drawing now. Now from the project tree and on the documents tab, we can see that we have now created 3 different files which can be now started to be electrified. But we can open, for example, the second floor plan also here. On the label, we can see the project information we set previously, and we can modify them easily from the edit project information and settings. We can add some extension, for example, to the project name and press save. And now the label automatically updated. Also, the same update came to the layout 2 and also to the other documents, for example, to the third floor after we sync. After this, we need to define the story settings. So when we create the model, the equipment will go to the correct elevations. So we come to the story functions and story settings. The logic with our program is that all the different floors are drawn in separate drawings. So for example, floor 1 has its own drawing, floor 2 has its own drawing, and so on. And with the story settings, we can set the correct story heights. So when we create the model, all the equipments go to the correct elevation. From here, we can define the site name and building name, and also if they have some kind of offset from the original value, we can define them. But in this case, we want to just define the stories. So from the plus sign, I can create the story ID 1, select the first floor drawing, and then I can assign the story height. For example, 3,300. Okay. Now we'll create the second and third floor. Give it a new story height. And then the third floor. And now all the building stories are set up. Next we go back to the first floor plan. And we want to start creating models to the project. On the right you can find the electrical toolbar and symbol menus. For example, classic sockets, switches, light features, fluorescent lights, low current symbols, and so on. First of all, we want to insert these symbols on the drawing side. We want to use as models on the project. Like this. Next on the project tree, we want to come to the product model section. And from here we can find this create new product model from device function. And with this function, we can create all of these symbols as models. And now we have already 6 models created to the project. And now we just need to give some data to these models. These models must be created once, and then these can be used on the future projects. They can be stored on our database and can be shared with other users. And you can also give these models whatever information you need to them to have. And the information can be used, for example, in the reports, using filtering, for example, in database, or as a data visible on the drawing. Next, we want to edit the product models and give them suitable data values. We'll use this slide feature model for an example. I'll give it a suitable name. Position number, position symbol, modify the description. With proper size data, so the 3D will be correct size. Then we want to change the 3D symbol. And finally, we want to create the additional information. We want to edit power value, manufacturer data, IP class, link, and then also lumen value. The lumen value is not found in our standard database, so we need to create it. It can be done in the additional information management. And we can create it to the project from the bottom side by pressing the new, name it as lumen, give it the attribute name, so we can put it as a visible information on the drawing side if necessary. And use these kind of settings. All of these own-made additional information values can be shared in the shared database, so other users can also use them, and you can use them in the future projects. Now we can select this additional information on the project side. And now we just need to fill the data. Like this. Now the model has all necessary data. Now this model can be used as a base for a new models. So I can copy it and create a new model out of it. With the position 2, update the size data. Change the 3D symbol. Update the additional information. Now we have a second model ready. Now we can delete these base symbols here. We can find the models on the project tree. These models can be inserted one by one or to an area or to an element, for example. I can insert this one from here, for example, middle of this cleaning room. By pressing Shift and right key, I can find here this midpoint snap. So I can easily insert it middle of this room now. You can see also from the project tree that the amount list always updates whenever you insert or delete product models. Now I insert this to an area, to this restroom here. And I can select the amount of symbols here and give a symbol angle. For example, 2 and 2 and even spacing. Like this. And now you can see that the amounts also were updated to the project tree. Now we can insert the HVACs here, so we can draw some suspension rail. We come again to the external references tree. From here we can select an IFC model and select the HVAC. We select the first story and we import all the elements. Like this. We can put the shading on and go check the model right now. Now we want to draw the suspension rails to the shop. First we want to create collision geometry, so we can check the elevations from the drawing. We want to create collision geometry only with the HVAC. And now the collision geometry is created. And I can use here this big elevation from drawing functionality to check the HVAC elevations, bottom and middle and top elevations. And I can see that the bottom elevation for the HVAC is 2700, which I need to take into account in electrical design. Next, I want to start the draw raceways function to draw the suspension rails, set elevations, angles, and so on. Then I just draw the suspension rail here. To here, and now I know that I need to go under the HVAC. And I give the elevation, for example, 2650 to not go all of the HVAC. Now we can check it where there are any collisions. And we can see that we go under the HVAC by a little. We can also mark the 3D elevation next to the suspension rail and other data. So we can select, for example, this piece here, right click, and from here use this mark raceway data to drawing. And for example, if we only care about the elevation, we can select it. start the function, and it will mark the elevation here. Also the rise symbol can be inserted here. I can also change the elevations afterwards. You can see that the markings also change automatically, so there is no need to delete the old markings because they are smart. Next, we want to copy this suspension rail. I select this one piece and use Shift-Control-A to select all. And from the context, I use the copy. Select here as a base point. Then I put the ortho on. And then I can write the displacement to the command line. Like this. Now we can insert light features to the suspension rails. For example, these ones here. By using this create new devices and insert them on element. From here I can select the settings. And then I can insert the light features and bottom side. Like that. Now we can generate the 3Ds for the light features. Generate 3D parts. In this case, I will generate all. And we can put the shading on. Again, we can rotate. The view, and we can see now that the light features are correctly on the suspension rail. We can also see that the project tree is automatically updated. The amounts are still here correctly. You can see all the light features separately under this list. We can now also insert these light features to the second floor if we want to. For example, we can insert one here. And you can see that it counts now all the product modules on both drawings. The difference here is that you can see the light features which are on the current drawing as bolded in the tree, and the ones which are not in this current drawing as not bolded. For example, if I move back to the first floor, I can see now that the LED 36 is not bolded anymore because it's on the second floor drawing. Here we have a project state where almost all electrical equipment is already inserted. First, I'll show how to insert information to the drawing of a certain object. For example, I select this light feature. I want to show its power and IP class on the drawing. I need to use this insert info to drawing functionality. And here you can find all the data of this certain light feature. So I can come to the device, additional information, and here I can select the power, give it some kind of prefix, and then IP class. And after pressing OK, I can insert this marking symbol. Now, for example, I want to insert the same marking for all of these topside light features. I can do this by copying this one symbol here copy symbol, then I need to select all the wanted light features. And now we can see that all the same data appeared on the same location for each of these symbols. Note that I can use this copy functionality also to other light features with other data. After pressing enter, you can see that now they have their own values here visible. Next, I'll create a report of light features with our report functionality. So we start the DB reports. From here, we want to select the light features list type of report. And we'll use the template which is saved under the project folder. We want to add it to the project document so we can update it from the document tree. Then pressing next, we can confirm the file name here. Now we can open the document already from here. And from here we can see all the luminaires and the drawings here and the amounts on the certain drawing. Most of them are now on the first floor, but there are some light features which are on the second one. And the total amounts are on the right. Now the new report can be found also from the project tree, and it's this one here. Next, we want to mass edit some product modules. First, we can, for example, change these two product modules to match, for example, fourth position light features. We can come to the product module tree, for example, or from the position tree. I can select here, for example, if I want to change these to fourth position, I can select the fourth position light features from here. And from here on the context menu, I can find this conversion function. I can select what data I want to update. And I select both of these features. And after enter, the symbols change, position number changed, and also the visible data changed here automatically. The product models can be also changed from the database directly. For example, if we want to convert all fourth position light features to second position light features, we can easily do that in the database tool. So let's open the database tool and change all of those fourth position ones to second position. From here, I want to search all of those fourth position product modules. I can do it easily with the filtering on the devices tab. And we have 4 of these light features on the project currently. I select them all and select the product modules. And now we want to find the second position product module, which is here. And by double clicking it, now all of these 4 light features are changed to new product module. I confirm the changes. And now you can go back to the drawing side and use this synchronize button here to sync these database changes to the drawing side. And now these 2 light features and like I can show you also where to find the rest. This functionality. So all these 4 light features should change to second position now after the sync. I press the synchronize button. You can see now that all these 4 light features were changed. You can see now also that in the project tree that there are no longer 4th position light features and 10 times these second position ones. Now we want to update the report. But first we want to create a copy of this old report so we can use it to compare the old and new version. Add the date here, for example. And I'll start this compare document versions function. Then I find this old report as version 1 and the new version is automatically selected. Then I use this compare function. After this, the report is created. And you can see the changes as yellow colors. So you can see that the second position once the amount changed. There is a change in 5th position light features. And at the end, you can find that the 4th position light features no longer exist because it's marked as red. Also, this comparison file can be saved if wanted. Similar comparison can be also done with different drawing revisions. For example, you can find this functionality from here. And you can compare, for example, different DRV or DVG versions. And it will show the differences between the drawings. Next, we want to create data network cabinet and also link the data network sockets on the drawing. We come to the symbol functions and use this data network function. First, we need to create the cabinet. I'll use the default settings. We create the panel to it with 16 ports. And now all the available ports can be seen here. I can use this connect existing to connect these ports to the drawing symbols. Or I could also insert these data sockets to the drawing and give them automatically the addresses. Like this. And like this. Now we can see that these 4 data sockets are connected and we can see to which panel or which cabinet they are connected and which port. After this, we can create the cables like this. This cable information is read from these data sockets and it's defined to the models. So they know what cable they need to use when the cables are created. And you can, for example, create Excel lists of all these data sockets now. Next, I'll show you how to export and import SDF files with Electrical. First of all, you need to create the spaces, for example, with our area boundary functionality. In this case, the spaces are already done, but they are hidden. Here you can see, for example, these green boundaries and this space text here. And all the spaces have been already defined here. The export can be done from the light feature functionalities. Here is this create dialogs project from space objects. You want to select all objects. and create the file. And save. After this, you need to do the light feature design with the dialogs. And after it's ready, you need to import the information back to the electrical. So I select here already done light design. For example, I just import the restroom light features which are done. And here you can see that there are now 8 light features added to the restroom from the dialogs STF file. Now we need to create products out of them. We go to the product model 3 again. Use this create new product model from device functionality and select all of these light features. Now I want to edit the product model and change the symbols at first. Select here this one and change the 3D symbol also to this one. And we can see that the product information is added for the product model automatically from the dialogs. And from the product information selection, I can copy the type name here. And I will paste it as the product model name now. Then we want to add the position marks. We can check from here which position marks are used now. We can see that 12th is the next one. You can see that the size information came automatically from dialogs also. And now we select the position marking. And after closing this window, we can see that the 2D is automatically updated. And also the 3Ds are now changed. Like this. We can also create the position markings for these light features. Like this. Then we can also degenerate the 3Ds. Like this.
Next we go to the second floor drawing. And to here we want to insert a new distribution board and create a couple of lightning groups. We have a function called distribution board and group management, and here you can find all the distribution boards and their groups. And from here I can create, for example, new distribution boards and insert them to the drawing. I create DP102. Use the default dimensions and symbols. And then I can insert it to the drawing. I can see also all the distribution boards and groups in the distribution board and groups project tree section. Next I create some groups. And the groups can be created, for example, by drawing the wire between the distribution board and the device. I give the sufficient data for the group and press OK. And now we can see that we have one group created to the DP102. Next, I want to wire the rest of the light fixtures. I'll draw this kind of wiring and continue with the wiring from this light fixture. For example, like this. Now we can create also a second group. Use the same information. Then we again wire the rest of the light features together, which we want to be added to this group. And now the project tree, that we can see that we have now two groups on this DP102. Additionally, we have electrotechnical calculations for voltage drop and minimum short circuit current. We can also create cable markings for the cables here. Like this. And even if we change one of these cables, for example, the 3 times 2.5, it automatically updates here also. Next, we go back to the first floor, and I'll show the 3D functionalities Electrical has currently. First, we want to add the IFC reference drawing. And I only want to import the first floor of factory building and all the different elements. Then we want to go to the side view. We can see it now that all the building elements were added here. And whenever we put the shading on, then it's more easy to see the building itself. We can hide the building whenever we want from the tree. And if we had multiple stories, we could hide whatever stories we want to. Also, we can hide the site plan for now. Next, we want to cut some of these walls from here. But first, we want to save some views. So we have this design views functionality where we can save different kind of views. For example, we want to save this one here. Then we want to save one where we are on the top with the FC disabled. And for example, then one where we are again on the side view, FC enabled, but then we also want to cut this model a bit. I'll use this view toolbar, and here we have the clipping functionalities. For example, I want to clip this wall here and also the ceiling like this. And I can again save the view. And I can easily jump from view to view whenever I want to check some 3D things. For example, in this view, I can come back to here. If I want to make some new cuts, I can come back to this view here. And whenever I want to come to check the 2D only, I can come to this view. And of course, you can delete, update, and so on these views. Next, we want to generate the electrical 3D equipment. And in this case, we want to generate all of them. Now the 3D parts are generated, which can be, for example, seen here that we have the light fixtures, the raceways here, and we can also check this space here. From here, we can now do some 3D edits. For example, if we need to move this distribution board a bit, we have a couple different functionalities. We can move this 3D symbol vertically like this, and it will show the elevation change. For example, if we want to move it to 1650 millimeters elevation, we can move it here. And of course, we can move it also sideways if wanted. Like this. We can also change elevations, for example, for these raceways here. Let's move a bit the view. So for example, if this raceway needs to be moved, we can select, for example, just this part for now as an example. Move it to 2800. But now we can see that the light fixtures are no longer on the raceway. But we can move them back to that with this functionality here. Then we just select all the light fixtures we want to move according to certain 3D element. If we want to select it from the list, it will find all the 3D objects. And for example, now it shows the first one here. And when I select a certain elevation, it will show where it will go after the change. So for example, we can see that we could put it to the roof, but this 2800 is the raceway where we want to insert it. So we select that one. Okay. And then it will ask the second one, third one, and the fourth one. And now the light fixtures are again on the raceway correctly. Next, I'm going to show you how to use the visualization window with your design. First, we want to come back to this normal 2D view. Let's enable the reference drawing and put the shading off. I'll hide also the site. And then I'm going to set up one of our draw variables called render 2D to 0, which means basically that whenever we have the shading on, it will hide automatically all the 2D elements. Next, we open the visualization window from here. We can see that now there is the exact view here, as in here. But now, for example, if we move to the side view, and we put the shading on, you can see that the 2D elements disappear from this window now. Now we can, for example, hide the wall elements here and check inside the building. And this visualization window can be used, for example, to check the 3D models when you are doing the 2D insertion. So for example, this can be on the second monitor. Then we come back here. Then we are going to insert a couple of light features to this raceway here. For example, these ones here. And I inserted them to here, like this. then I can generate quickly these three. Like this. And now I can drag back the visualization window, and you can see that now there are these three light features on the raceway. You can also enable from our layout settings that whenever you insert 2D symbol, that the 3D symbol is generated automatically also. So you do not need to separately generate them. Finally, we want to create the FC file, and it can be done with the 3D functionalities. We select the whole building, all the equipment, and we want to add this document to the project documents, so we can update it from the project tree. We want to include property sets to the equipment, and I have created, for example, this lightning equipment property set, which will be added for all light features in the project. And it consists this kind of data. And of course, these can be done as needed, so you can add any kind of data fields here for certain equipments. Then we create the FC file. It will open all the drawings which are used to create the FC now. Now the FC file is ready, and we can open it from the project tree. I'll use BIM Collab Zoom to view the model. So here we can see all the electrical equipment on the project. And if we, for example, click this light feature, we can see the general data and also the property set data. Additionally, we can add the building IFC here. And then view the equipment inside the building. So for example, we can hide these walls here and see the raceways and light features inside this room. The equipment colors come from the setting file, and in this example, these are all white. And whenever new changes come to the electrical drawings, you can easily update the model from here. So there is no need to re-import the IFC with the IFC functionality after this. This was an introduction to Cadmatic electrical layout application. I hope you learned something and have a nice day.